You've done the trips, you've dialed in the packing list, you've got a system, and it works. So here's the uncomfortable question. What's still missing that you don't know is missing? Because most camping upgrades are noise. New color, same tent. But every so often, somebody solves a problem you'd quietly accepted as permanent. The cold ground, the dead phone, the propane bottle you can't recycle. That's what this list is. 13 pieces of gear that each fix something specific. Some are brilliant. One or two come with real trade-offs, I'll be honest about. And the very first one changes how you sleep at a campsite entirely. Quick ground rules before we start, because they matter. Every product here is called by its actual name, spelled correctly. Where a brand makes a claim I couldn't verify, I say so instead of repeating it. Where something is still crowdfunding, you'll hear that too. Because campaign pricing and shipping dates move, and you deserve to know that before you get excited. No fake urgency. No pretending a $2,600 tent is for everyone. Just what each thing does, who it actually suits, and where the catch is. Some of these are cheap. One of them costs more than a used car payment. Start with the one that guards your tent. Sleeping in a remote spot means listening. Every twig snap becomes a question. Outdoor Guardians is built to answer it for you. The system is a central receiver plus a set of small wireless sensors, and the neat part is how they store. They drop back into the receiver to charge, the same way earbuds live in their case. No cable to the campsite, no Wi-Fi, nothing to install. You scatter the sensors around your tent, vehicle, or perimeter. When something moves through, the receiver alerts you by sound and vibration. One honest note, listings describe the radar at 5.8 GHz, while the brand's own page describes millimeter wave radar. Either way, it's radar rather than heat-based sensing, which is the point. Fewer false alarms from wind and leaves. Battery life is listed at up to 30 hours, and the housing is built to shrug off weather. Security is one thing. The next item is about space, and it's genuinely strange. This is not a tent so much as a small building you inflate. The XenoNest from HandyBro is a 2-story air house. The ground floor works as living space. Hang a hammock, stash gear, sit out a rainstorm. The upper level is designed as the sleeping deck. Panels zip on and off so you can run it open and airy or seal it up private. Here's the detail most people miss. On typical inflatable tents, the air beams hide under fabric layers, which makes them a nightmare to dry and clean. And damp beams eventually mean mold. XenoNest leaves the beams fully exposed and makes every fabric section removable, so you wash the pieces separately. The maker rates the beams for winds around 45 miles per hour, with D-ring points for staking. It weighs about 55 pounds. No official sleeping capacity has been published, so treat any headcount as an estimate. Pricing came from its crowdfunding campaign. Roughly $1,130 for tent and ground sheet, around $2,600 for the full kit with frame, ladder, and tarps. Campaign pricing shifts, so verify before you commit. Now, let's cook something. Somebody looked at a farm implement and saw dinner. The iKamper Disco series is built around a 16-inch cast iron disc, borrowed from the discada tradition of the American Southwest and northern Mexico, where farmhands cooked lunch on repurposed plow discs. It's shaped like a shallow wok, so the center runs hot and the rim stays gentler. Perfect for butter basting a steak while your vegetables hold at the edge. Important correction on a common claim. That skillet is enamel-coated, not pre-seasoned. You don't season it. You wash it with soap and water like a normal pan. Heat comes from a stove built with Cavea, rated at 8,455 BTU, with collapsible feet so it can also run on a tailgate or camp table. It runs off standard canisters. The tripod is where it opens up. Adjust the height and cook standing, which turns the whole thing social. Or hang the disc under the tripod over a live fire and skip gas entirely. One caveat worth knowing: iKamper has listed the Disco skillet as sold out with no near-term return. The starter, stove, and tripod still works with your own cookware. Speaking of camp kitchens, the next one is the smallest thing on this list and possibly the most used. Coffee snobs are insufferable about this, and they're mostly right. The AeroPress Go is the travel-shrunk version of a brewer that's held its reputation for 2 decades. Everything – chamber, plunger, filters, stirrer, scoop – nests inside a mug roughly the size of a large camp cup. What makes it work is that there's no wrong way to use it. You control the grind, the water, the steep, the pressure. First trip out, follow the instructions in the box, then start adjusting once you know what you're chasing. The trade-off is real and worth stating plainly. The Go brews about 8 ounces at a time versus 10 on the AeroPress original. You're trading volume for pack size. If that bothers you, the original is still sold, and there's now a Go Plus that brings the capacity back up to around 10 ounces with an insulated tumbler. Small item, outsized payoff. The next one replaces about 5 items at once. Nobody enjoys carrying 6 separate gadgets, even when the car's doing the carrying. The Lovork is a rubber-coated ABS cylinder holding a 5,000 mAh lithium-ion battery with dimmable RGB LEDs up top and a strong magnet on the base. That magnet does double duty. It sticks the lantern to any ferromagnetic surface, like a car hood, and it's also how the modules attach and draw power. The modules are the whole idea. 2 lighting heads, a floodlight rated at 500 lumens, and a focusable spotlight. A 10-watt air pump with a set of nozzles for pads and pillows, a rubber-bladed cooling fan, a 5-watt Bluetooth speaker, and a mosquito repellent module that heats repellent tablets, 2 at a time when the bugs get serious. It's officially marketed as a 7-in-1, 1 lantern body plus 6 modules, though you'll see it counted as 8 functions if you include using the battery as a power bank for your phone. That's a small battery, though. Let's talk about a serious one. Most power stations are one sealed box. When it's empty, you're done. The Udom Origin 800 breaks that box apart. Its battery is a set of swappable stacks, each one an 86.4 watt-hour standalone power bank with a 2-way 60-watt USB-C port. Pull a stack off, throw it in your day pack, charge your laptop on the trail, then click it back in. Stack them up and total capacity moves from around 460 watt-hours to about 720 watt-hours. A C output is rated at 800 watts with a long list of ports, reportedly 13, so several devices run at once. There are accessory modules too, a lamp that clips on top and a smart cup that cools or heats a drink. Behind it all sits a multi-layer battery management system, plus an app and voice control that track charge across each stack. On price, I'll be careful. It launched through crowdfunding with tiered bundles and early bird discounts well below the listed MSRP, and those numbers have moved since. Check current retail rather than trusting any figure you hear in a video, including mine. Power sorted, time to feed the whole camp. This one gets a reaction every single time it comes out of the bag. The Ospit is a battery-powered portable rotisserie, designed in Australia, rated to turn up to 8 kilograms, roughly 18 pounds, of balanced meat. That's a serious amount of food for a group. The clever engineering is a patented carrier bracket with a counter-lever design, paired with a squeeze-lock post clamp. Together they let you raise or lower the skewer for heat control and swing the meat toward or away from the fire, then lock it so it doesn't drift on you mid-cook. The motor is remarkably frugal. Ospit lists up to 30 hours of runtime from 2 D-cell batteries. Everything that touches food, skewer, prongs, is 304 food-grade stainless, so cleanup is simple. Accessories cover most of what you'd want. Extra prongs for multiple birds, hot plates and grills, fire trays for when open ground fires aren't allowed, and baskets for wings, ribs, or fish. It all breaks down into the carry bag. Great food, great fire. Now here's the part that ruins most trips anyway: sleep. Foam pads are warm and bulky. Air pads pack small and feel like sleeping on a beach ball. The Climate Climaloft refuses to pick one. A plush foam topper covers roughly 2/3 of the surface, right where your torso and hips land. That topper does two quiet, underrated things. It grips, so you stop sliding off in your sleeping bag at 2 in the morning, and it's genuinely silent. Anyone who's shared a tent with a crinkly pad knows why that matters. Underneath sit I-beam air chambers. That's I-beam, like the structural steel shape, which lift the sleeping surface off the ground and stabilize the whole pad so it doesn't wander when you're restless. It's built as a 3-season pad, so it covers most of the year but isn't your deep winter answer. A stuff sack is included. Climate has since expanded the line with insulated and summit versions if you want more warmth. Rested and fed. Now the tools, starting with something small and sharp. Let's set expectations honestly. This is not the axe for processing a cord of firewood. The Beavercraft AX1 is a compact hand-forged hatchet, and inside its lane, it's excellent. Clearing brush, splitting kindling, limbing branches, shaping wood for a shelter, it handles all of that comfortably one-handed. The head is 1066 high-carbon steel with a straight cutting edge and a convex grind, and the bit measures about 2.95 inches. The handle is ashwood, treated with linseed oil and wax, which gives you grip without a coating that turns slick when your hands are wet. Overall length runs just under 12 inches, and it comes with a leather sheath and belt loop. It weighs little enough to live in a pack lid or on your belt without you resenting it. The flat pole also works as a hammer when you're driving a wedge or tent stakes. Small tool, sharp edge. The next one is about boiling water fast when the wind is trying to stop you. Backcountry cooking changed. Dehydrated meals got good, and now most stoves exist to do exactly one job: boil water, quickly, without drama. The MSR wind burner is built for that job. The burner sits fully enclosed inside the system, so wind can't strip the flame the way it does on an open canister stove. Light it, snap the pot into place, and it holds performance in gusts that would leave a conventional burner sputtering. The build quality shows everywhere. The honeycomb radiant burner, the pot lock, the lid. It's not cheap. The personal system has hovered around the $190 mark, though pricing moves, so check current listings. 2 things to know before buying. First, because of the radiant burner design, only wind burner pots work on it. Second, if you want to actually cook rather than just boil, the line includes duo and combo systems with larger pots and a skillet, and those handle simmering properly. And if you're cooking real food, you need a real blade. Your pocket knife is not a chef's knife. Anyone who's tried to break down a roast with a 3-inch drop point already knows. The iKamper food prep folding knife solves that by giving you a full 5-inch chef-style blade on a handle around 5.7 inches. Enough leverage for real work, including tougher jobs like separating large cuts of meat. The blade is 9CR18 MOV stainless, corrosion-resistant, tough, holds an edge well, and still sharpens without a fight. There's a liner lock so the blade stays put under pressure, and signature cutouts along the widest part of the blade that shed weight and let you flick it open with a thumb. The handle-to-blade proportion is deliberate. It keeps your knuckles clear of the cutting board when you're rocking through an onion. The beechwood grip is scalloped near the balance point and shaped for several different holds. Folded, it's about 5.7 inches and roughly 5 ounces. It goes in a pocket. That's the trick. Now for something you bolt to the roof. This is one of those ideas that seems obvious about 2 seconds after you see it. Your car already has a large, flat, permanently sun-facing surface up top. The Akima CBX Solar puts it to work. It's their premium CBX rooftop box with a 36-watt sun flare panel integrated into the lid. No dangling cables, no separate panel to set up and pack away. 2 USB ports sit inside the box's roof, outputting at 5 volts. That's enough for phones, lanterns, headlamps, and camera batteries, either while driving or parked at camp, and it never touches your vehicle's battery. Cargo space is 16 cubic feet. The updated line also brought lower-profile mounting hardware tightened with a torque tool instead of the old clamps, groove channels so the box sits flush for less road noise, and a revised rear shape that clears a hatchback. Set expectations. 36 watts is modest. This charges small devices. It doesn't run a fridge. Also worth checking availability, since Yakima lists it as a 2020 to 2025 model. Last one. And it's the least flashy thing here, which is exactly why it matters. Those little green propane bottles are a genuine problem. They're awkward to recycle. Some waste facilities won't take them, and millions go to landfill every year. The Ignit gas growler is the fix. It's a refillable 5-pound DOT-approved steel tank holding the equivalent of 5 of those single-use bottles, and you top it up at any standard propane station, same as an RV tank. A refill costs roughly what one green bottle costs, which means the math turns in your favor fast. The valve carries a 12-year certification. Over that lifespan, you're talking about hundreds of disposable bottles that never get made or thrown away. The deluxe set includes the tank, a padded MOLLE-equipped carry case, and an adapter hose that connects to most propane-burning camp gear. Ignit has picked up industry recognition for it, though I judge it on the refill math rather than the trophy. Boring? Maybe. It'll also outlast almost everything else on this list. So that's 13. Let's be straight about what to actually do with them. If you camp a handful of weekends a year, buy the cheap wins. The AeroPress Go, the Beavercraft AX1, the Ignit gas growler. Small money, immediate difference, and the growler starts paying you back on trip 2. If you camp constantly and comfort is the bottleneck, the Climate Klimaloft and the Lovork earn their space fast. And if you're looking at the XenoNest or the Utum Origin 800, verify current pricing and shipping status first. Crowdfunded gear can be excellent, but the timeline is never as firm as the campaign page suggests. That's not cynicism, that's just how it works. Here's what I genuinely like to know. Which one made you stop and rewind? Drop it in the comments, because the ones people argue about are usually the ones worth a closer look. If this saved you from a bad purchase, a like helps more people find it, and subscribing means you catch the follow-up. Because there's one category I deliberately left out of this list. It's the piece of gear most campers replace last and regret waiting on. And I've got a full breakdown coming on exactly that.